Sugar has been a part of our lives for a very long time. It was first made in India over 2,000 years ago and later spread to the rest of the world. Today, sugar is used in almost everything: cookies, drinks, sauces, and more. In the US alone, over 9 million tons of sugar are made every year. It all begins on large farms, where workers harvest sugarcane or sugar beets. These plants are quickly sent to nearby places where machines crush them to get the juice. That juice is boiled and cleaned until it turns into sugar crystals. This raw sugar is then sent to big factories to be made into the white sugar we use every day. Inside the factory, the sugar is cleaned again, melted, and spun until it's just right. Then, machines dry it and pack it into bags or boxes. Thousands of pounds are packed every hour and sent to stores, bakeries, and food companies across the country. It's a busy system that runs all the time, and every spoon of sugar we use comes from this long process of growing, boiling, and packing, just to bring a little sweetness into our day. Hello, Internet. Welcome to Process Hub, the channel that uncovers the real stories behind the world's most popular foods, starting with the sweet, everyday world of sugar. Sugar comes from two main crops, sugarcane and sugar beets. Sugarcane is a tall plant that grows well in warm places like Florida, Louisiana, Texas, and Hawaii. It can grow up to 20 feet tall and has a thick stalk filled with sweet juice. Sugar beets are a type of root vegetable that grow better in cooler areas, mainly in northern states like Minnesota, North Dakota, and Michigan. Even though these plants look very different, both are packed with natural sugar, which is what we use every day. Farmers pick either sugarcane or sugar beets based on where they live and what the weather and soil are like. Sugarcane needs a long, warm season and plenty of water, so it's usually grown on big farms with watering systems. Sugar beets grow better in cooler areas and can be planted along with other crops. They're planted in spring and picked in the fall. The kind of crop a farmer grows also changes how it's processed, so factories are set up differently depending on which plant is used. Sugarcane is usually picked once a year and takes about 12 to 16 months to grow. The sugar is stored in its stalk, and if it's not processed soon after cutting, the juice can go bad. Sugar beets grow faster and keep their sugar in the roots. They can sit for a few weeks after being picked, but over time they dry out or rot, which lowers the sugar content. That's why it's important to harvest both crops at the right time to keep as much sugar as possible. Growing these crops depends on the right mix of location, weather, and good planning. Both sugarcane and sugar beets have their own advantages, and together they help keep the US sugar supply steady. Picking the right type and planting at the right time is the first step to making sure everything in the process works well. When sugarcane or sugar beets are fully grown, they're picked using big machines. In sugarcane fields, farmers often burn the dry leaves first to get rid of extra plant material and bugs. Then, machines cut the stalks near the ground and chop them into small pieces called billets. These pieces are quickly loaded into trucks and taken to nearby mills. In places like Florida and Louisiana, the timing is important because the juice inside the cane can start to go bad within a day or two after cutting. Harvesting sugar beets is a bit different. Special machines pull the beets out of the ground and shake off the dirt. These machines can cover a lot of land fast and save a lot of work. After they're picked, the beets are washed and stacked in big piles until they're ready to go. They don't spoil as fast as sugarcane, but it's still best to get them to the factory quickly so they don't lose any sugar. Waiting too long can lower the quality and how much sugar can be taken out. Transport is carefully planned to make sure the raw materials get to the factories on time. Sugar companies usually work with local mills near the farms. Trucks, tractors, and sometimes trains are used to move large amounts of cane and beets fast. Every delivery is recorded and weighed to keep track of how much raw sugar is being processed. In some areas, work runs 24/7 during harvest season to keep up with the crops coming in non-stop. It's important to keep things fast and fresh during transport. Factories are built to start processing the crops as soon as they arrive. The quicker the juice is taken out, the better the sugar will be. Any delays in transport can waste time and money, so this step is one of the most time-sensitive parts of making sugar. At the factory, the first job is to get as much juice out of the sugarcane or sugar beets as possible. For sugarcane, the chopped pieces are shredded and pressed through large rollers. These rollers squeeze out the juice, which flows into tanks. The juice has water, sugar, and tiny pieces of plant material. The leftover crushed stalks, called bagasse, are not wasted. They're often burned to power the factory. Sugar beet processing starts in a different way. The beets are cut into thin strips called cossets. These strips are put into big tanks called diffusion towers, where hot water flows over them to pull out the sugar. This soaking process takes about an hour and gets most of the sugar from the beet slices. The liquid that comes out is similar to sugarcane juice, but needs a little different filtering and boiling. Getting the juice out is a careful process. If too much pressure is used, things like starch or proteins can get released, which can cause problems later. The water temperature in the beet diffusers must be carefully controlled to prevent cooking the beets or damaging the sugar. Each factory has its own settings and methods based on the crops and equipment it uses. This step is important for the whole process. The quality of the juice that's extracted affects how much sugar can be recovered. A clean and efficient extraction means fewer issues later on during the next steps. That's why juice extraction is both a skill and a science in making sugar. The raw juice from cane or beets has impurities like fibers, dirt, and plant bits. To clean it, factories add a substance called lime, calcium hydroxide, that helps these impurities stick together. The juice is then heated in big tanks, causing the particles to rise or sink, making them easier to remove. This process is called clarification. The goal here is to get rid of anything that isn't sugar. If impurities stay in the juice, they can change the taste and color of the final product. Heating also helps kill bacteria and stop fermentation. Most systems use a series of tanks and filters to clean the juice as much as possible before boiling. This step is important for making sure the rest of the process goes smoothly. Different factories use slightly different ways to clarify the juice. Some use extra filters made of carbon or sand, while others use more chemicals to help settle the impurities. The type of crop also makes a difference. For example, sugar beet juice may need more filtering to remove proteins and amino acids found in root crops. When done right, clarification leaves a light yellow or pale brown juice that's almost ready to become sugar. The better this step is done, the fewer problems there will be later. Clean juice is easier to boil, crystallize, and refine, saving time, energy, and money. After the juice is clarified, it still has a lot of water, up to 85%. The next step is to remove most of this water by heating it. The juice is pumped into vacuum evaporators, where the pressure is lowered so it can boil at lower temperatures. This helps keep the sugar from burning or turning brown. As the juice boils, the water turns into steam and escapes, leaving behind a thick syrup called masacuite. This syrup is much more concentrated, with about 60–65% sugar. The steam from this process is often reused to heat other parts of the factory, making the system more energy efficient. Evaporation systems are carefully controlled to manage temperature and pressure. If it's done too fast, the sugar might crystallize too soon or taste bad. If it's too slow, the syrup could darken or get contaminated. Using multiple stages of evaporation helps control the heat while making the syrup more concentrated efficiently. By the end of this step, the sugar juice turns into a thick amber-colored syrup that's ready to be turned into crystals. Removing the water is important not only for making sugar, but also for preserving it and getting it ready for the final steps in production. Once the syrup is concentrated, it's time to make sugar crystals. This is done by cooling the syrup a bit and adding small sugar crystals to help them form. The mixture is stirred gently in large pans to let the crystals grow slowly and evenly. These pans are carefully controlled for temperature and movement to make sure the crystals are all the same size. As the crystals grow, they begin to separate from the liquid, now called mother liquor. Once enough crystals have formed, the mixture is put into a centrifuge. The centrifuge spins quickly to separate the crystals from the syrup. The leftover syrup can be reused in the next batch, or boiled again to get more sugar. Crystallization is an important step for quality control. Things like temperature, pressure, time, and seating all affect the final product. When done right, the crystals are even and pure, with little waste. If not, factories might have to redo the process or throw away bad crystals. This step ends with the collection of raw sugar, large light brown crystals with a little molasses. At this point, the sugar can be used in some foods, but most sugar goes through more refining to become the pure white sugar we use at home and in food production. Once the raw sugar gets to the refinery, it's turned back into syrup and filtered to remove any color and impurities. The syrup is then turned into a clear liquid and recrystallized to make white sugar. This is the first step in making the sugar clean and safe for food. The liquid is then spun in a centrifuge to separate the pure sugar crystals from the remaining liquid. These white crystals are almost 100% sucrose and very clean. Depending on how the sugar will be used, it may be polished or treated with anti-caking agents to meet food-grade standards. After refining, the sugar is dried in heated air to remove any leftover moisture. Moisture can cause the sugar to clump or dissolve during packaging. The drying process is fast and gentle to keep the sugar structure intact and prevent any color changes. The final product is granulated white sugar, packed into bags, jars, or bulk containers for distribution. Once the sugar is refined, it's ready to be packaged. Large factories use machines to fill, seal, and label thousands of bags or boxes every hour. Some sugar is packed in small bags for homes, while other batches are packed in large sacks or drums for bakeries, soft drink makers, and food factories. Packaging lines are designed for speed and cleanliness. Each container is filled to the right weight and sealed to keep out moisture and dirt. Many factories also use barcode systems to track every bag and box, ensuring they can trace the sugar from the factory to the store. After packaging, sugar is either stored or loaded onto trucks and trains. Some is exported, but most stays in the country, going to supermarkets, restaurants, food companies, and wholesalers. Logistics teams handle schedules, routes, and inventory to ensure sugar gets to where it's needed. Sugar has been a kitchen staple for centuries because it can improve the taste of almost any food or drink. Whether it's sweetening drinks, enhancing baked goods, or adding flavor to savory dishes, sugar helps balance tastes. It's also cheap and found in everything from snacks to sauces, making it accessible to everyone. The sugar production process has changed over time to keep up with the needs of a growing global population. Today, sugar is produced in large quantities each year, thanks to modern farming and efficient factories. This makes sugar consistently available and affordable, from harvest to packaging, so it stays an important ingredient in both homes and food factories. Sugar is also popular because of its cultural importance. It's linked to celebrations, comfort, and tradition. From birthday cakes to holiday treats, sugar symbolizes joy and special moments. This connection, along with its ability to enhance flavors and easy availability, keeps sugar a timeless ingredient in everyday life.
The journey of Heinz Ketchup begins in the sun-drenched fields where Heinz's carefully cultivated tomato variety, known as the Heinz seed, is grown. Unlike typical tomatoes, Heinz tomatoes are specifically bred to achieve the perfect balance of color, flavor, and texture required for making ketchup. These tomatoes are renowned for their deep red color, natural sweetness, and thick flesh qualities that contribute to the unique taste and consistency of Heinz ketchup. Most of these tomatoes are grown in the fertile agricultural regions of California, where Heinz has developed long-term partnerships with local farmers. By working directly with these farmers, Heinz can ensure strict quality control from the very start of the production process. Each growing season begins with rigorous planning, from soil preparation and seed planting to irrigation and harvesting schedules. These tomatoes are vine-ripened, meaning they remain on the plant until they reach their peak ripeness. This approach maximizes the tomato's natural flavor and ensures that the harvested fruit is bursting with the right combination of sweetness and acidity. Sustainability is a priority for Heinz, and the company collaborates with farmers to implement eco-friendly practices in every aspect of the tomato growing process. This includes efficient water usage through drip irrigation systems, which reduce water waste by delivering moisture directly to the plant's roots. Farmers also employ crop rotation and soil health management techniques to maintain the quality of the land and promote environmental balance. Once the tomatoes reach their ideal ripeness, it's time for the harvest. Harvesting is a crucial step, as the tomatoes must be picked at the exact moment they're ready. Heinz utilizes advanced harvesting machinery to streamline this process, ensuring that the tomatoes are picked quickly and efficiently. These machines are designed to handle the fruit gently, minimizing bruising and ensuring that only the highest quality tomatoes make it to the processing facility. The speed of this process is vital. Once harvested, the tomatoes need to be processed within hours to preserve their freshness and flavor. Trucks are loaded with the freshly harvested tomatoes and promptly transported to the nearest Heinz processing facility. This rapid turnaround is critical to maintaining the quality standards that Heinz has upheld for over a century. When the tomatoes arrive at the factory, they undergo a thorough cleaning process to remove any dirt, pesticides, or other impurities. A conveyor system moves the tomatoes through multiple stages of washing, ensuring that each fruit is spotless and ready for processing. After washing, the tomatoes are sorted using state-of-the-art optical sorting technology, which scans each tomato for quality indicators like color, size, and ripeness. Any tomato that doesn't meet Heinz's strict standards is removed at this stage. This rigorous sorting process guarantees that only the best tomatoes are used in the production of Heinz Ketchup. This commitment to quality control is one of the reasons Heinz Ketchup has maintained its reputation for consistent flavor and texture. After sorting, the selected tomatoes are steamed to loosen their skins. This process allows for efficient removal of skins and seeds, leaving only the rich, juicy pulp. The tomatoes are then crushed and screened to separate the skins and seeds from the pulp. The resulting tomato pulp is thick and vibrant in color, capturing the essence of fresh tomatoes at their peak ripeness. The next step is to cook down the tomato pulp to create a concentrated paste. This concentration process involves reducing the water content, resulting in a thick and flavorful base that serves as the foundation for Heinz Ketchup. This tomato paste is stored in sterile containers and can be kept for months, ensuring that Heinz can maintain year-round production regardless of the tomato growing season. The magic of Heinz Ketchup lies not only in the tomatoes, but also in the precise combination of additional ingredients. To create the perfect ketchup, The tomato paste is blended with vinegar, sugar, salt, and a carefully selected blend of spices. The exact recipe remains a closely guarded secret, but the process ensures a harmonious balance of flavors. Heinz has mastered this formula over decades, refining it to achieve the rich, tangy, and slightly sweet profile that defines Heinz Ketchup. Once the ingredients are mixed, the mixture is slow-cooked in massive stainless steel kettles. This cooking process is essential to the final flavor profile of Heinz Ketchup. The heat allows the ingredients to meld together, creating a smooth, homogeneous mixture with a deep red color and robust taste. The cooking process also helps achieve the thick consistency that Heinz Ketchup is known for, ensuring it clings perfectly to fries, burgers, and other foods. Every batch of ketchup undergoes extensive quality testing to ensure it meets Heinz's rigorous standards. The ketchup is tested for several key qualities, including taste, color, texture, and acidity. One unique aspect of Heinz's quality control process is the Boswick measurement, a test that measures the thickness of the ketchup. Heinz Ketchup has a specific level of viscosity that ensures it's thick enough to stay on food, but smooth enough to pour. In addition to these standard tests, Heinz employs sensory panels, where trained testers evaluate the ketchup's flavor profile to ensure it aligns with the brand's signature taste. Any batch that fails to meet Heinz's high standards is reworked or discarded, ensuring that only the best product reaches consumers. With quality assurance complete, the ketchup is ready for bottling. Heinz's bottling process is a marvel of modern engineering, designed to fill bottles quickly and efficiently while maintaining the integrity of the product. The ketchup is pumped into bottles that have been sterilized to maintain freshness. Each bottle is sealed to prevent contamination, ensuring that the ketchup inside remains as fresh as the day it was made. Heinz has always been at the forefront of packaging innovation. In the early days, Heinz Ketchup was sold in glass bottles, which allowed consumers to see the quality of the product. In 1983, Heinz introduced the now iconic upside-down squeeze bottle, a revolutionary design that made it easier for customers to get every last drop of ketchup out of the bottle. This commitment to convenience has helped Heinz maintain its place as a leader in the condiment industry. Each bottle is labeled with batch codes for traceability, allowing Heinz to monitor the production process from start to finish. The bottles are then boxed and shipped to stores around the world, ready to be enjoyed by millions of people. So, next time you pour Heinz ketchup on your fries or burger, remember it's more than just a condiment. It's the result of over a century of dedication to quality, innovation, and a unique flavor experience. Whether you're a ketchup connoisseur or just love adding a dash of flavor to your meals, one thing's for certain, Heinz Ketchup is here to stay. Coca-Cola's signature taste comes from a combination of key ingredients, and it all starts with sourcing the best materials. At the heart of it all is sugar, which is either derived from sugarcane or sugar beets depending on the region. In the U.S., high fructose corn syrup, HFCS, is often used instead of sugar, while in many other countries, cane sugar remains the preferred choice. Sugar is the foundation of Coca-Cola's sweetness, and the choice between HFCS and cane sugar can have subtle impacts on the taste and texture of the final product. In places where sugarcane is abundant, such as many Latin American countries, Coca-Cola is sweetened with cane sugar, which gives the soda a slightly different flavor profile than the HFCS version found in the US. The switch between these two sweeteners is one of the many factors that contribute to the regional variations in Coca-Cola's taste. Another critical ingredient is the caramel coloring that gives Coca-Cola its deep, rich, and instantly recognizable hue. This coloring is created by carefully heating sugar in a controlled process to produce the caramelized syrup that not only colors the soda, but also adds to its flavor profile. The exact recipe for the caramel coloring is one of Coca-Cola's most closely guarded trade secrets, making it a key part of the brand's distinct identity. Finally, we arrive at the most secretive part of Coca-Cola's recipe, the flavoring. This is where the magic happens, as Coca-Cola's famous taste comes from a blend of various ingredients including vanilla, cinnamon, and orange. While the precise combination of these ingredients is a top secret, It is known that the company uses a mix of essential oils, spices, and extracts to create the unique and consistent flavor that millions of people around the world crave. Once the ingredients are sourced, it's time to mix them into that familiar Coca-Cola flavor. The process starts at a central plant where vast quantities of ingredients are combined in huge vats. This is where the magic happens. The exact proportions of each ingredient, water, sugar, caramel coloring, flavoring, caffeine, phosphoric acid, and citric acid, are mixed to create a uniform base for every bottle of Coke. The water used in Coca-Cola is not just ordinary tap water. It undergoes a rigorous purification process to meet strict quality standards. It's essential that the water is free from impurities and chemicals, as it forms the bulk of the drink. Once purified, the water is combined with the other ingredients in exact proportions to ensure that the taste remains consistent in every bottle. The next step is adding the flavoring. This blend of herbs, spices, oils, and extracts is what gives Coca-Cola its unique taste that is so beloved around the world. While the secret recipe remains a mystery, we can be sure that the complex combination of flavors provides the sweet, tangy, and slightly spicy notes that make Coca-Cola stand out from any other soda. Once the flavoring is added, the mixture is thoroughly blended with the caramel syrup and other ingredients, creating the syrup base. This base is then ready to be carbonated, marking the next critical step in the production process. One of the most distinctive features of Coca-Cola is its effervescence, the bubbles that make it so refreshing. To achieve the perfect level of carbonation, CO2, carbon dioxide, is injected into the syrup mixture at high pressure. This creates the fizzy sensation we all know and love. Carbonation is an art in itself. Getting the level of bubbles just right is key to delivering the ideal drinking experience. Too much CO2 results in an overly fizzy soda that can taste harsh, while too little carbonation leads to a flat, unexciting drink. Achieving the perfect balance of effervescence requires precision, and this is where the real science of soda making comes into play. Once the carbonation is injected, the mixture is vigorously mixed to ensure that the CO2 is evenly distributed throughout the syrup. At this point, the drink is ready to be bottled or canned, but not before it undergoes one final check for consistency and taste. Now that the Coca-Cola syrup is perfectly mixed and carbonated, it's time for it to be bottled or canned. The bottling process begins with clean, sterilized bottles or cans that move through an automated system. The machines fill each container with the Coca-Cola mix, ensuring the correct volume is dispensed. The precision in this stage is key. Even the smallest variation in volume can affect the consistency of the product. Once the containers are filled, they are sealed with caps or lids, ensuring that no air or contaminants enter the drink. This step is performed at lightning speed in large factories, with machines handling the tasks of filling, capping, labeling, and packaging as quickly and efficiently as possible. Afterward, containers are carefully packaged into crates, which are then shipped to distribution centers. From there, Coca-Cola makes its way to stores, restaurants, and vending machines worldwide, ready for consumers to crack open and enjoy. Coca-Cola is committed to maintaining its high-quality standards, and that means constant monitoring during the entire production process. Every batch of Coca-Cola undergoes rigorous quality checks to ensure that it meets the company's taste, appearance, and safety standards. Each ingredient is tested before it's incorporated into the mix, and the final product is continuously sampled to ensure it's consistent with Coca-Cola's flavor profile. Even the carbonation levels are carefully measured to guarantee that every bottle has the right level of fizz. The company employs highly trained taste testers, known as Coke tasters, to conduct blind taste tests on samples from every batch, ensuring that every bottle tastes just as it should. If any discrepancies are found, adjustments are made immediately to ensure that the final product meets the standards that Coca-Cola fans expect. This attention to detail is what has helped Coca-Cola maintain its reputation for quality over the years. In recent years, Coca-Cola has made significant efforts to improve its sustainability practices. This includes using more sustainable packaging, reducing water usage in production, and working towards carbon neutrality in its operations. Coca-Cola has also partnered with various organizations to promote recycling, and reduce the environmental impact of plastic bottles. As consumer awareness of environmental issues has grown, Coca-Cola has responded by investing in greener alternatives. The company is exploring the use of plant-based bottles and other sustainable materials that reduce reliance on traditional plastics. Additionally, Coca-Cola has made strides in improving its water usage efficiency, ensuring that every drop used in production is responsibly sourced. With Coca-Cola's global presence, the company has an immense opportunity to influence the beverage industry towards more eco-friendly practices. As demand for the drink continues to grow, Coca-Cola is committed to ensuring that its environmental footprint remains manageable while still meeting the needs of its vast consumer base. So, the next time you crack open a cold Coca-Cola, remember that there's a lot more going on behind the bottle than just a simple soda. From the carefully sourced ingredients, the secret mix of flavors, the perfect fizz, and the commitment to sustainability, every sip of Coke comes from a process designed for consistency and quality. Whether you're enjoying it with a burger, pizza, or all on its own, Coca-Cola remains a timeless favorite around the world. Now that you know how Coca-Cola is made, what's your favorite way to enjoy it? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more exciting breakdowns. See you next time.